The answer given here is BATC for this question, and it says here again, as usual, I say that it's difficult for us to start a sentence which has a conjunction at the start. You can't have a paragraph. You might have a sentence with a conjunction, but not a paragraph starting with a sentence that has a conjunction right at the start. But the recent discovery of detailed similarities in the skeletal structure of the flippers in all three groups undermines the attempt. Again, we don't know, so it goes out. Uh, Biologists have long maintained that two groups of pinnipeds, sea lions and walruses, are descended from a terrestrial bear-like animal, whereas the remaining group seals shares an ancestor with weasels. So biologists have maintained something about two groups of pinnipeds, sea lions and walruses. These are the two groups, right? So everything is introduced here. The two groups of pinnipeds, A and B, are descended from terrestrial bear-like animal, whereas the remaining group, seals, shares, the remaining group basically is referred to seals, shares an ancestor with the weasels, right? This is what is given in A, B, right? Then you have, but the common detailed design found among pinnipeds probably indicates a common ancestor. Now, my point is that you use but, correct? That means it is having contrasting idea. But if you put C after B, I would say that you don't need a contrast but in B. If you are continuing, if you keep BC together, I don't need but. Why? Because the idea in C is the same as the idea in B. So the presence of but is awkward. Biologists have long maintained that two groups of pinnipeds are descended from a terrestrial animal, right? Whereas the remaining groups, seal shares and so with so basically biologists have long maintained the two groups of pinnipeds, sea lions and walruses are descended from a terrestrial bear-like animal. But the common detailed design found among pinnipeds probably indicates a common. So this idea indicates a common ancestor does not have contrasting notion with B. That means BC is not a pair. And D basically is not making any sense with B. Can you relate B with D? Flippers may indeed be a necessary response to aquatic life. We don't know. So basically we have to keep B and then if let's try to go to A. But the recent discovery of detailed similarities in the skeletal structure of the flippers in all three groups. What is those three groups? Pinnipeds, sea lions, remaining group seals. So the three groups are one sea lions, the two walruses and the third seals. Two groups, whereas the remaining group, which is seals. But the recent discovery of detailed similarities in the skeletal structure of the flippers in all three groups undermines the attempt to explain why superficial resemblances as due to convergent evolution. The independent undermine something. So what is being undermined? The superficial resemblance. So B is having the idea about three different groups and A says but the recent discovery of detailed similarities in the skeletal structure of the three groups undermines the attempt to explain away superficial resemblances as due to it undermines the attempt to explain away superficial resemblances due to convergent evolution. It says here flippers may indeed be a necessary response to aquatic life. Turtles, whales, and also have them. Turtles, whales, and something also is missing here, also have them. But the common detail and design among the pinnipeds probably indicates a common ancestor. So, what do we have here? It says that biologists have long maintained that two groups of pinnipeds, A and B, are descended from a terrestrial bear-like animal, whereas the remaining group shares. So, they say that two groups have one ancestor, and the remaining group has a different ancestor, and that is with weasels. But the recent discovery of detailed similarities in the skeletal structure of the flippers in all the three groups undermines the attempt to explain away superficial resemblances as due to convergent evolution. It says here, flippers may indeed be a necessary response to aquatic life. Turtles, whales also have them. But the common detailed design found among the pinnipeds probably indicates a common ancestor. So among the pinnipeds, you have found common. So basically what happens in B, you say that the two have different ancestors. And then you say, but the recent discovery of detailed similarities in the flippers. So you have A, then you have B, and in the end you have C. BADC is the pair.